the American army came to the first camp, they didn't know what it was. All of a sudden they walked on something with a wire fence, tall fences, and they went around it, came to the front of the gates, and the gates were locked, and all they saw was dead bodies laying all over the floor. So they shut the lock and opened up, and they called their general to come see what they found. So the general came and saw all the dead bodies laying on the floor in the thousands. I think one of them had 10,000 people. So they called General Eisenhower. He was in Washington. They said, General, you have to come down because what our eyes see, our hearts cannot tell you. But come down, bring photographers, and bring congressmen. So he came down to the camps and he made a statement. Actually, it's recorded. And he said, take all the pictures you can, try to interview these people if you can, because I don't want some bastard should come in 55, 60 years and say it didn't happen. And you see it happening. The first question, who were the first people to be killed in Germany by the Germans?
This week, Mrs. Allen invited Holocaust survivor David Mermelstein to share his experience and relay an important message to students learning about the Holocaust.
Chancellor in Germany.
We read it in the books. My students are doing these projects where it's a very all-encompassing project, learning the economy, learning the reasons why the war started and how Hitler came to power and what happened. And we read these numbers, 300,000 killed, 2 million killed. It's very hard to actually put that into perspective, though. You can't picture that so much. And even though we're reading stories of survivors, but to actually hear it, from someone himself who's been there, where you can have then that dialogue and that give and take of asking more questions and probing deeper than what you would get from a book. The book is a great way to start, but to be able to go deeper is really an invaluable experience.
You have a speaker that went through it and wants to pass on the message. It's important. It's really, really important. To me, my religion, I didn't know about many of it, that they were in the Holocaust. And now since he had told me, and my dad has told me, it's important for speakers to always go to schools and tell the truth.
After his presentation, Mr. Mermelstein answered questions and talked about why he speaks to young people.
Well, we want the people to know, and we say never again, and we never want to forget about it. So because if you have something, you talk about it, we don't want it to repeat. Today in the last few years, we had what happened in Bosnia, what happened in the other African countries.
If we do not learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it. Reporting for Riptide, I'm Alessandra Enriquez.